Charlie Weiss may no longer be the coach here in Lawrence, but you still can't get rid of me. What's up and welcome to 3 in the Key. I'm your host, Ben Allen. Today we have a very special guest on the set. The captain of the KU baseball team, Justin Protasio, is here, and we will give you a little bit of a preview on the baseball team, and also he will be joining the debate with our stat guru, Nick Hagel, and everyone's favorite television show host, Brett Dayton-Ivy. Before we get you all up to date on that, though, let's first get you up to date on what you missed. "29 years and they still can't win a game in the postseason in 9 innings. An early favorite for Destiny's Darling, the Royals defeated the league's best Angels in 11 innings last night after being deadlocked at 2 runs since the 5th inning. Third baseman Mike Moustakas blasted a solo shot to right field to break the tie, and closer Greg Holland came in to seal the deal. The Royals get an early jump on this series, being up 1-0. Their next game will be tonight at 9:37 Eastern Time. Taking place right now in my home state as we speak, the Orioles pounced on the Tigers in the 8th inning to blow out the Tigers 12-3 in last night's game. Of course, the game was much more competitive than it appeared. The Orioles were only up 3-2 into the 7th, where they were able to tack on one more run to make it 4-2. But in the 8th inning is where it got ugly. The Orioles knocked in 8 runs to secure the victory. And the Orioles, up 1-0, are currently playing as we speak and are now up 5-2. If you have any extra $1 billion lying around, you could be the next owner of the Brooklyn Nets. ESPN is reporting that the Nets owner Michael Prokhorov has been quietly gauging interest from potential investors to take majority control of the team. According to a source, ESPN says that the asking price for the team would be about $1.2 billion, and the Barclays Center where they play would be an additional $1.1 billion. With this being likely a multiple investors, it would need to be able to step to the plate. When Prokhorov initially bought the team, he created a 5-year plan to win a championship by 2015. This is the 2015 season, and we have yet to see a championship. Maybe he fears his words, they're not going to be able to live up. Ex-New England Patriot Aaron Hernandez may have gotten a lucky break today, as bullets found in an old apartment, as well as an addition to his Hummer, may have been thrown out as possible evidence. A judge decided that the police did not demonstrate probable cause for the searches. Judge Susan Garsh said that there were absolutely no facts linking Hernandez in any way to the crime investigation warrant. The warrant was actually for a cell phone that belonged to the co-defendant, Carlos Ortiz, who was with Odin Lloyd when he was killed. Hernandez pleaded not guilty to the first-degree murder of June 2013, where he is currently also being held without bail. It's the crucial fifth week that is fantasy football, and we are starting to get a great grip on where your team is going to be and the winning that is going on. Here now, there are a few players that you want to get into your lineup and guys that you want to get out as quick as you can. Rashad Jennings will have a huge week this week against the Atlanta struggling defense that has given up the 3rd most rushing yards this year. Also, if you're looking for a spot start at the quarterback position, Blake Bortles looks destined to have a great week, as the Steelers are in the bottom half of the league in passing yards given up. Nick Foles is definitely a guy to take a look at sitting this week, as they are playing the Rams, who have given up 562 passing yards all season, which is the least in the NFL. Those are my fantasy tips for the week, and that's been what you missed. When we return, we will sit down with Justin Protasio. You won't want to miss. Welcome back to 3 in the Key. Now joining me is the captain of the KU baseball team, Justin Protasio. It's got a nice ring to it, doesn't it there?
Yeah, I like it. Thanks for having me.
Oh, thank you for coming on for us. What does it mean for basically all the work that you've put in over the last 4 years, or 3 years, to come into this moment now, as you know, being one of the co-captains of the baseball team this year?
It's a huge honor. I first found out my last couple of weeks in summer ball in Alaska. Skip, Coach Price, he gave me a call one morning, and he was just like, hey, you know, the coaching staff, we decided to make you a captain this year. And right when he told me that, it was like a huge honor. I wasn't expecting it at all, so it was kind of a huge surprise. But it's just being able to set a good example on and off the field. I had a great 3 senior classes to show me what leadership takes, and just taking what they did well and stuff. It's awesome.
And you've always been a guy that's kind of been the grinder. You're the 5'5" guy out there who moves around the infield and takes a bunch of walks. What has that really been? You know, what has that meant to you going into this, that you've really worked through so much adversity?
Yeah, honestly, after my junior year of high school, I had no idea I was going to play Division I baseball, and just getting here, you know, it didn't stop. I had to work hard all my life to prove people wrong that, even though I'm small, I can still play. So
yeah, certainly. So obviously last year you guys were able to make it to Louisville. You guys carried a top 25 tag on your name everywhere you went. What was last year like?
It was a blur. It went by fast because, we were having fun and time went by like that. But looking back on it, it was really something special. Beginning of the year, I didn't expect to do as well as we did. But, looking back now, it was a fun ride.
It was a fun ride. How many of the players on those team are guys that you really look to as just like close buddies off and on the field?
Honestly, we spend every day many hours together, so I love every single guy on the team, and I like my infield unit the best because, I like to say we work the hardest in practice, so definitely my infielders got a little love, but I still love everyone on the team.
So was chemistry a big part of everything, the success last year?
Yeah, absolutely. Anytime a team does well, you have to be close with the guys you work with and being able to trust them, and it all starts from around this time of the year in the fall when we're just starting team practice, trying to get a feel for what the team's going to be like, and yeah, it's awesome.
Certainly. So, okay, we've gotten all the baseball stuff out of the way now. Tell me 3 things about yourself that have nothing to do with baseball.
I rode in a helicopter for the first time this summer. My dad's a pilot, so It's kind of weird. I waited 21 years of my life to do that. The second thing, I hate cheese, any kind of cheese.
Why is that?
I don't know. Since the first time I got a hamburger from McDonald's, I didn't want cheese on it. And ever since then, it's just been a weird little.
Was that McDonald's or was that the cheese's fault, though?
I think it's cheese, but I'm weird because I can eat it on pizza, but that's it. Anything else it's pushing it. And the third thing, I used to be pretty good at surfing when I was younger, and then right when I hit high school, kind of baseball in school took up all my time, so my skill level went down a lot since then.
So you're saying surfing, and for a lot of people who don't know, you're from Pearl City, Hawaii. So you've been growing up around the water all your life. Where are the best beaches in Hawaii?
There's a lot of nice ones out there, but I'm gonna have to be biased here on Oahu, the island where I'm from. On the famous North Shore, there's this one beach called Waimea Bay, and that's definitely my favorite place to go. During the summer, it's nice and flat, but in the winter, those waves can get up to like 40 feet, so it's dangerous, but that's definitely the spot to be out there.
Do you have a lot of family and friends, the fans back in Hawaii that are cheering for you out here in KU?
Oh yeah, absolutely. My family tunes in to all our games, and they usually come out for one series out here in Lawrence, and they'll make a West Coast trip, either if it's Arizona or California.
Okay, so going forward to this season, you guys are returning a lot of great players on your team. You're returning yourself and other co-captains, Tyler Rappaport and Blair Beck, and even home run leader Connor McKay from last year. What is this team going to be like this year?
We're young. We're really young, especially with the pitching staff. But from what I've seen last week in our first week, I like what I've seen, and we're going to be young. We're going to be feisty, but in the end, I think we'll do well, if not better than we did last year.
Well, that's always a good look for going forward to the next season. A little bit of a discipline question here. You're a guy, you walk a lot. In the last game, the scrimmages that you guys had, you had 9 plate appearances and walked 4 times. And last year, you were 5th in the Big 12 in total amount of walks. How much has discipline on and off the field really become a person who you are and everything that goes onto the field?
Yeah, like you said, it all starts off the field. You have to wake up early, go to class, go to workouts, go to practice, find a way to study, and that kind of just ties into your work ethic on the field. And drawing all those walks, it just helps that I'm really small. It's harder for pitchers to throw to me. That's what I like to say. And eventually you learn how to swing at balls, strikes and not balls. So
it's the last year at KU here. What's your favorite moment you've had since you've been on this campus?
I would have to say making that regional last season. That's kind of what you work for the whole time, is just getting to the postseason, hoping for good things from there. So that regional run in Louisville was the best moment so far.
Well, that's fantastic. I'm glad that you were able to come on with us, but we're not getting rid of you quite yet. We're going to have you come on and debate with Nick and Brett here, and we're hoping you guys stick around for the next segment. It's going to be a great one. We will be right back. All right, guys. Well, welcome back, guys. We're back, and we're in time for debate. None of the points matter. We give them, they take them sometimes. Sometimes they don't take them, but we still give them. We are here today with our stat guru, Nick Hagel, Mr. Greek TV and former Jayhawk Sports Report anchor, Brett Ivy, and of course, our man from the last segment, Mr. Justin Protasio. You guys ready to start?
I believe so.
Yes, sir.
All right, guys, let's go ahead and get it cracking here. It has been a busy week in the NFL this week already, with one game being played, with the Packers destroying the Vikings last night on Thursday Night Television. Which game this week is going to be your favorite matchup?
Oh, well, I can't look past the Patriots and the Bengals. You know, I wanna see how Tom Brady bounces back. Personally, I've always been a huge Tom Brady fan, and you know, there's nothing wrong with seeing Andy Dalton play too. The Bengals have been looking really good this year, sitting at 3-1. I mean, I can't see past them right now, but I think it's going to be a really, really good matchup.
I might be a little biased, but I'm into the Chiefs and 49ers game, not only for my Chiefs, but for the Jim Harbaugh, controversy surrounding around. People think he's under fire. I don't know. I think he's a great coach, but it's also interesting to see what the Chiefs might do this week. After losing to the Titans, people kind of closed the door on them. They played the Broncos really close. Then they kind of opened the floodgates against the Dolphins and the Patriots, and let's see if this offense is for real.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to go with the 49ers Chiefs matchup as well. I live with roommates from Kansas and Bay Area also, so it's going to be interesting to see who wins that game and who has bragging rights in the house. But personally, I don't really have an NFL team, so I'm just looking for a good game.
Which is going to be the most exciting game to watch, though? Anything big plays going on this week? Is Tom Brady going to be able to bounce back?
You know, I think anything with whoever the Ravens play this week. I've always, Joe Flacco's been kind of sitting kind of dormant this year. He's due for a breakout game. I think.
So now you're just sucking up to me now.
Not necessarily, no.
You're sucking
No,
up to
not
me
at
with
all.
the Ravens.
Not at all. Maybe a little, but still, you never know.
All right, well, apparently the sucking up worked a little bit for someone, because in the back room, they're telling me that the point for the first point of the game is going to be going to Brett for apparently his Tom Brady.
Let's go.
Again, people, I don't control the points. It's our lovely director in our back room that destroys everything that is good about points. All right, second question here, guys. You guys probably missed this one through the grapevine on your sports feed, but Stephon Marbury, the former Knick point guard, has got a little bit of an interesting job now out there in China. Instead of playing basketball, he is actually going to be starring in a musical about himself. My question to you guys is, if you were starring a musical about your life, what would be the instant in which the whole thing was about, and what actor would play you?
I mean, I guess I can start this off. I mean, I spent quite a few years treading the boards on the stage, so I know quite a bit about theater. So I think my story would be Damn Yankees 2. It'd be the sequel to Damn Yankees because I hate them so much. So I think that'd be a great little sequel. I already have it written. It's good to go. And I think the person that would play me would probably be, man, I'd love to see Liam Neeson on stage. I think he'd kill it.
That's funny.
Oh,
I
thank
personally would like to get maybe Zac Efron, Vanessa Ann Hutchins back in the gang, a little High School Musical for the college years.
Okay, yeah.
It'd go over the topics like what meal am I going to eat next, spending hours in the library studying for a test you might fail, when's my rent going to be available. I think that represent me pretty well.
If I had to stick to the music topic, I would definitely, this guy's dead, I'd bring Bob Marley back alive.
Okay.
And I'd like him to play it because I'm a huge reggae music fan, and I just want to see kind of how it made its way from Jamaica out to the U.S. and even out to Hawaii. So that's something I'd do a little.
Awesome. That's really cool. That makes me jealous. Now I wish I would have said Bob Marley. I think that would totally fit. I look like Bob Marley, I think. I don't know though.
You guys may have guessed where the point was going in this one, but anytime you have a Bob Marley reference, that's going to get you the point. Mr. Protasio, you got your first point of the game here. Nick, you're slagging along. Here, you got to get something going.
I can't help it.
They say defense wins championships and offense scores the runs. In the MLB postseason, you want to have a little bit of both. But if you had to pick one, which would you rather have?
I might have to go with pitching on this one. Looking back at the last few World Series with Boston, they had the narrative of John Lester being a great postseason pitcher. Mm-hmm. The Giants certainly led the way with their pitching, and also you look at the Cardinals with Wainwright and Carpenter back in 2011. The hitting will come if your pitching, gives them the opportunity to. So that's what I'm looking for there.
For sure. I'm going to have to agree with him and say pitching. I mean, pitching wins championships. You can never have enough arms, especially with these past few games. How it gets into extra innings. As long as you have pitching, you can hold off a team and get runs later. So pitching has the upper hand.
I'm going to play devil's advocate here and say defense. I look back to last year's World Series when shortstop for the Cardinals, Pete Kozma, a good family friend of mine, had 3 errors basically in one game, which led to, I think,
You said
4.
devil's advocate, and everyone's saying defense.
Pitching and defense were kind of a combo there.
You just lost the point in my eyes.
All right, fine. You know what? I'll take that loss. I don't even care. Fine, give it. I don't even care. Give it, Ben.
Wow. All right.
I'm bitter.
Well,
I'm
someone
bitter.
someone at least tell me, what's the importance of offense then? If defense is that important, do you need to have an offense?
Well, that comes. I've been watching the postseason this year, and you look at the Royals playing small ball this year, having a very slow offense. They haven't been scoring a lot of runs, but you also do look, kind of at the Angels and the Orioles and the Tigers, they're basically home run hitting teams with no defense. Well, the Tigers in particular. So, and I'm sure we'll get to this point later on, but that's why I see teams winning, because they may not have a lot of offense, but their bullpens and their defense carries them.
I agree.
And heads were shaking. Heads were shaking. All right, well, it doesn't matter, because if you get the first point off sometimes, that's going to get you the point. Nick Hagel, you're finally on the board. We're tied 1-1-1 all the way across here. Going into our 4th point, the guys out in Kansas City. The KC Royals, they're pretty hot right now, you could say. They're 2-0 so far in the postseason and rolled in going very, very hot. My question to you guys, is this team's Destiny's, are they Destiny's darling this year?
I'm going to have to say yes. They waited 29 years. I was not alive or around to see that 1985 World Series, but I live with George Brett's son, so I hear a lot about that, and I see a lot of pictures from back then, so it looks cool. And based on what they've done the past 2 nights, it's definitely something special. They're really exciting to watch, especially on the base paths. They stole 7 bases with 7 different guys the other night, and yeah, I think they're definitely the team to beat right now.
I'm going to have to disagree with you there. I enjoy the Royals. They've been playing really well this offseason, but you can't look past the Angels. Arguably the best team in baseball right now with the AL MVP to be, So they're going to be very tough to beat, especially coming up with their next 3 games. They have 3 of their best pitchers. Sure, Weaver lost last night. That's fine. They still have 3 more pitchers to take his spot. And I just don't see them getting past the Angels. I think Angels take the next 3 games and win the series.
Well, this Royals team's really bizarre. They're the first team to make the playoffs that were last in the league in home runs and last in the league in walks. But they struck out the least. They put the ball in play. And when you put the ball in play, weird things happen. And I think the Angels aren't the same team without Garrett Richards. He was a very good pitcher for them. And yes, they have the home run bats, but great defense and just the wackiness of this Royals team. I think they might be the team of destiny.
See, I don't think Albert Pujols is going to fall behind in this series, though. I think he's always huge in the postseason. I think he's going to just kill it during these next 3 games. But I could be wrong. Hopefully, I am. I want to see the Royals continue, but I cannot look past the best team in baseball.
Last thing, I think if you give the Royals a run, that back end, their bullpen is pretty unreal. And if you look at it, I think they have the best numbers. So once you give them a lead, I think it's a done deal with them.
Dropping stats and getting points. Nick Hagel, you got your 2nd point of the game, everybody.
Charging.
All right.
To the top.
And a plot twist here, because we always like to have plot twists here. The last point of the game will be worth 2 points.
Ooh.
So whoever wins this
comes.
point here will ultimately win the entire debate.
I'm gunning for it.
Ready.
You guys ready for this?
Yes, sir.
My last question for you guys is, we've got a bunch of teams left here in the postseason. I just want to know, who are going to be the teams advancing to the NLDS and the ALDS?
Ooh, that's tough. It's going to be a really good series with San Francisco and Washington coming up. That's going to be really fun to watch. And honestly, I've been thinking a lot about this. The Giants were huge in that wild card game, and I think they're going to win tonight. I think they're probably going to win in 5. We'll find out. I think they're going to advance to the CS, excuse me. And then Dodgers and Cardinals.
CS, my bad. I meant to say DS.
You're okay. You're
you
fine.
know what I'm saying.
You're fine, Ben.
That might just be a point just for saving me.
Hey, you never know. And so I think the Cardinals-Dodgers game is going to be tough, but I think the Dodgers will win. They just have too much pitching, and I think Yasiel Puig is going to get hot. That's for the NL. For the AL, I got to say the Orioles. Sure, the Tigers are winning right now, but even without Machado, I still think they have the best lineup in baseball. And so, and after that, like I said, I'm not going to move past the Angels. Angels are going to sadly take it from the Royals, but so I think that's probably going to be our CSs is going to be 2 LA teams, even San Francisco over there on the Bay, and then finally with Baltimore over on the East Coast.
Okay, well, I'm going to have to disagree.
Uh-oh.
Although I was backing up the Royals in that last part, I think I'm going to call an all-blue October. I'm going to say Dodgers and Royals. Growing up in Hawaii, I got all the Dodgers games growing up, so that's my favorite team. So you can't look past them. Team's full of all-stars, and you got the best pitcher in baseball over there throwing for you with Clayton Kershaw. So I really like that matchup. I'm going to say Dodgers-Royals in the World Series.
Ooh.
I'd like to think the Royals are going to pass, like we talked earlier. Then I like Buck Showalter. I think he's probably the best manager left in the playoffs, and he's really undervalued for that team.
Great
so
team.
I'd like
Great
to see
moment
them
too, by
pass
accident.
I'd like to see them pass the Tigers up. On the other side, the Giants won 2 years ago, and then they won 2 years before. I think it's time for maybe another Giants run. They look pretty good against Pittsburgh Pirates, and then. Ben's from D.C., so I could see the Nationals making a pretty good run.
Oh, okay.
Top to bottom, they might have one of the best rosters. Their managers are rookies, a little inexperienced. I didn't like how he handled Harper all season, but they've been playing some of the best baseball right now.
Right. What's your thoughts on Strasburg starting the first game too, even though he's statistically the worst pitcher in their lineup getting game one?
He strikes out a lot of batters. His FIP, his fielding independence, the defense backs him up.
Dropping the acronyms? Okay. I like
His
it.
ERA's been a little rough, but that's not always telling.
Yeah.
But if you look at the Nationals rotation, you really can't go wrong with some of those pitchers, though. So it's going to be a tough grind against them.
We'll see what happens.
All right, guys. You've heard it all, and the points have been decided.
Ooh.
The winner of this week's debate is Mr. Nick Hagel. Nick gets the win today, guys.
First time
Hagel.
win, yeah.
Nick, first time on, first time win. Guys, thank you so much for being here with us today. We're glad that you guys were able to watch us at home here today. Make sure you go on Twitter and follow us at 3intheKey. And we're looking forward to seeing you next week, and we're looking forward to having these guys on again. As for now, though, I'm Ben Allen, and this has been 3 in the Key.